Mr. Speaker, the American people have waited long enough for this Congress to act to create jobs. This legislation does that. It does that through the Jump-Starting Opportunity and Broadband Spectrum Act of 2011. There is no reason to delay this bill any further. This unleashes spectrum, both licensed and unlicensed, and when put into service will unleash new technologies, new innovations. And the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission has said this part of the bill we're debating today could create as many as 700,000 new jobs. Other estimates say between 300,000 and 700,000 American jobs. It generates upwards of $16 billion from companies that want to buy this broadband and pay the taxpayers for it, because it is America's spectrum. And it does something that the Democrats, when they were in charge of the House for 4 years, failed to do. It makes this spectrum available, and it begins the process of building out an interoperable public safety broadband network as called for by the 9/11 Commission. Now, this legislation didn't just drop out of the sky. It's thoughtfully and creatively and crafted, and it finds the right balances. Its provisions were improved as the result of input and counsel from 5 separate public hearings we held, 11 months of negotiations and discussions with members of both sides of the aisle, the FCC and the NTIA. But at some point, the American people say, stop talking, get it done. And that's what this legislation does as part of this bigger bill. Hardworking, middle-class taxpayers want transparency, accountability. They don't want a blank check to anybody. So this legislation has the proper protections for the taxpayers. It builds out the public safety network. It creates 300,000 to 700,000 American jobs. Our economy needs the help. Americans need the jobs, and we need to generate revenue for the American taxpayer in a productive way as this does. This legislation does all these things and does them well. I urge your support of this legislation. I yield back the balance of my time.